Everyone, welcome to channel Qtomation. In today's session we will see about git fetch command. So when you are working on any project in common GitHub repository, multiple developers and testers can be working on same repository, and some of the developers can push their changes in that remote repository. And when they push those changes into remote repository, and if you have the copy of that remote repository project in your local system, you would not know the changes which are present in remote repository. And there can be a situation where you want those new changes locally in your repo. In such cases, we can use either git pull command or git fetch command. So git pull command we have already seen in our previous session. So git pull command will bring those changes from remote repo to local repository, as well as it will merge those changes into working directory copy. Then what is the difference between git fetch and pull? Git fetch will also download the changes from the remote repository, but it will not merge directly into working directory. It will just download the changes. Then we can review those changes, and if you want to merge those changes, we have to do it manually. We can perform git merge command to merge those changes into your working directory. So git fetch command is used to download the latest changes from a remote repo to your local repository without merging them into your working directory. Syntax is by using git fetch, we can simply see. I will just show you the example as well. So this is how the entire flow looks. So far what we have seen, we can add the files in our working directory. From working directory, we can add those files to staging area by using git add command. And once files are in the staging area, we can commit those files to local repository. And from local repository, we can push those changes to remote repo. And now, if you want, after that what we can do? So we have, if you want the changes which are present in remote repository in your local system, there are two ways. We have already used git pull command previously. So what git pull command will do? Whatever changes are there in remote repo, new changes are there in remote repo, those changes will come to your local repository, as well as it will merge to working directory copies. It will also merge those changes to your working directory copies directly. But when you use git fetch command, it will just download those changes from remote repo to your local repo. But it will not merge those changes directly. We have to use git merge command, then only those changes will be merged into your local copies, that is working directory copy. So I will show you one simple example, then we will understand in better way. So I have already created one remote repository in my GitHub account. So in previous session we have already seen how to create a GitHub repository. So I have created one GitHub repo, that is Qtomation_fetch_demo. In this GitHub repository, I have added one new file, fruits.txt, and in this new file, I have added some changes. Apple and mango, 2 lines I have added. Now I am going to clone this project in my local system. I want to clone this project to my local system. So currently I have this folder, my projectx folder. In this folder, I am just deleting this previous folder. So I am not creating any folder in this. I am just keeping it blank. So I have my projectx folder which is blank currently, and I want that remote repository project to be cloned into my local repository. In local system, I want to bring that project. Then how we can bring it? By using git clone command. So what we can do, we can simply go to this remote repository. After going into this remote repo, what we can do is, I will just select this code option. I have to copy this URL. This is the GitHub repository URL. I'm just copying it. Then I'm coming back to my project. Let's open the git bash here. After opening the git bash, what I will do, I have to simply use git clone command. After git clone, what we have to do, if you remember in our last session, we have already seen this. Git clone URL. We have to just paste the URL which we have just copied, which is basically remote GitHub repository project URL. When you execute it, it will clone that entire project in our local system. Inside this my projectx folder, that project is now cloned. I am just navigating to that folder. I have just navigated inside that folder, and after that we can see that folder as well. So if I open this file, open this project, let's open this fruits.txt file. It is also having the same changes, that is apple and mango. Currently in remote repo, this fruits.txt is also having apple and demo. We have cloned this project to your local system. There also the same content is there. So if you execute git status command, it is totally up to date with our remote repo. So our local repository is totally up to date with remote repo. Now what we will do, we will make some changes in remote repository file directly. Let's assume that it is some code which is added by some another developer. So I am just adding some code in this. So I am just adding orange and kiwi. This is the new line I have added. I am just committing these changes. Added orange and kiwi. I am just committing those changes. So it is as same as imagining that some other developer has pushed some changes in the same project in GitHub repository. Now these changes are not present in my local repository file. If you open this local repository file, if you see, it is not having those changes. And now I want those changes to be present in my local repository file as well. So we can use git pull command. In our previous session we have seen using git pull also we can do it. So I'm just going to use git pull command. So as I execute this git pull command, what will happen? All those changes from remote repo will be it will bring those changes to my local repository, as well as it will change this fruits.txt file as well. So let's execute git pull command. So when I executed the git pull command, if you see, it is showing you one file is changed, that is fruits.txt. One insertion has happened. So if I open this file now, you can see orange and kiwi is present. So these changes are directly brought from remote repo to local repo, and as well as it is merged into my working directory copy of fruits.txt. So that's the use of git pull command. But now what if I don't want those changes to be merged directly into my working directory copy without my review? So if I don't want these changes to be merged directly into my working directory copy, then we can use git fetch command. So I'm going to add some more new changes in fruits.txt. This time I am adding cherry and pineapple. So I have added one new line. I am just going to commit this. So let's commit this. Now I have added some changes in fruits.txt in GitHub repository file. These changes are not present in my local repository file. Now I am going to use git fetch command. So what git fetch command will do? Git fetch command will also bring those changes to my local repo, but it will not merge the changes without my review. So what I will do, I'm just going back to project, git bash. Let's execute git fetch command. So once you execute this git fetch command, it will bring the changes. It will bring the new changes, but it will not merge those changes. So if I see now git status, it will show you that your branch is behind this remote repository by one commit. Our local branch is now behind remote repository, that is origin main, by one commit. Main branch is basically, if you see in remote repository, branch is name is main only. This is our main branch. Our local repo is behind by this main branch by one commit. That's the one which we have added just now in remote repo. So that's what Git is showing us. It is showing you that there are changes which are there in remote repository file, which we have brought into our local repo, but still those are not merged yet. So if I open the fruits.txt file, there are no pineapple and cherry here because those changes are present, but those are not merged yet into your working directory copy. And also, if you want to see those changes, so if I want to see those changes, what we can do? So for what we have done, to fetch the latest changes, we have used git fetch command. Then we can review the fetch changes and we can compare local and remote changes by using git diff command. Git diff, the name of your local repository, that is the main branch. In local repository, we have only one branch, that is main branch. And then we can compare those with origin hyphen main branch. This is the name of remote repo as well. In remote repository also there is single main branch. So if you execute git diff main branch, that is the local branch name, and for remote branch we can use origin hyphen or origin slash main branch. It will compare the file changes between local repository and remote repository. So now if you see, it is showing you the changes as well. In local repository, apple, mango, orange and kiwi, these are present in both the places, remote as well as local. But this green one is showing you that this is the new change which is present in remote repository, but it is not merged into local repository yet, in working directory file yet. So this is the example of git fetch. Now if I want to merge those changes, I have to use git merge command, git merge origin main. So it will merge those changes into my local system in my working directory file of fruits.txt. Now if you open this fruits.txt, if you see, cherry and pineapple are also present in fruits.txt because these are merged now. So this is the exactly same as local repo and remote repo, both are in same state now. So if I check git status, this time it is showing you that our branch is up to date with origin main branch, that is the remote branch. So now our local branch is now up to date with remote branch, remote main branch. So that is the difference between git fetch and git pull. So when we used git pull, it brought the changes from remote repo to your local repo as well as merge those changes into your working directory. But when we use git fetch, it just brought the changes from remote repo to local repo, but without merging them. It did not merge them, so it should not reflect in your working directory copy. Only after review, if you are happy or if you are sure that these changes are correct, then we can use git merge and we can merge those changes into your working directory copy. So that's the benefit of git fetch. So now at that state, our remote repo file and local repo file are having the same state. So let's revise one more time what we have done so far. We have to first fetch the latest changes by using git fetch command. Then if you want, we can review those changes. We can compare local and remote changes. If you are happy with those changes, we can merge by using git merge command. And when to use git fetch and git pull? So we can use git fetch command when you want more control over merging the changes and to avoid surprises or conflicts. And when to use git pull command? When you are totally confident in the remote changes and they need to be quickly updated and merge into your local repository, then we can directly use git pull. So what are the high level differences between git fetch and git pull command? Git fetch will download the changes from remote repository without merging them into your local repo, whereas Git pull will download the changes from the remote repo and it will merge them into your current branch. Git fetch is non-disruptive in nature, whereas Git pull command combines fetching and merging, potentially can cause the conflicts as well. Git fetch is safer because in Git fetch, changes are not applied to your local branch unless you explicitly do it by using git merge command. But git pull is riskier because it will merge, can overwrite or conflict with local changes. The main purpose of git fetch is it will allow you to inspect or integrate the changes manually, whereas git pull is used for immediate fetching and merging purpose. It streamlines the fetching and merging into a single command. What is the use case git fetch we can use when you want to review the changes before integrating them? And we can use git pull when you trust the remote changes and you want them merged to be immediately into your branch. So this is about git fetch and git pull. So we have seen the differences between git fetch and git pull as well. So this is the diagram for better understanding. So git pull will directly bring the changes from remote repo to working directory, whereas by using git fetch we can first bring the changes from remote repo to your local repo, we can review them and we can explicitly merge them by using git merge command, and then only it will reflect in your working directory copies. So thank you for watching the git fetch video. In coming session we will see some more topics of Git and GitHub. I hope you like this video. Kindly subscribe to my channel, it motivates me. Thank you.